Good morning from a very hot Dubrovnik. So currently here in Croatia with my mum for 10 days, basically exploring and chilling out. This isn't a super travel-y trip, just to relax. And this is where a camera like this comes in perfect, because it's small, it's light, it's very kind of easy to use, you don't have to mess around with lenses, and the whole idea is to just point and shoot. And that's what I'll be doing in this video. This video will cover the next 6-7 days of exploring Dubrovnik and the islands in this area and using the X100. Throughout the video I'll be talking more about this camera, settings, compositions, tips, that kind of stuff, and showing you, of course, Dubrovnik as well. This video is also sponsored by Belroy, but more on them later on. Now let's talk about camera settings. I'm shooting mostly at f8 and I'm not using the ND filter. If I have to go down to f2.8 or f2 for creative reasons, then I'll use the ND exposure. I'm keeping it at 0, but sometimes I will overexpose by 0.3 or even 0.6. And the rest of the camera is in auto. Yeah, I think where you were, if you move a bit to this side here, and I'll just go angle on this. It and then stay there and then stay. Yeah, oh, this is much better actually, shooting into the shadow. Now, even though 35mm, so full frame, of this camera is very versatile, for travel I would say a general zoom, or at least a selection of wide, medium and tight lenses is better, because there are a few scenarios where this is very limiting, especially within a travel scenario where you don't know what you're going to expect and you have to cover different focal lengths and environments. Now, of course, I'm not saying you can't travel with just this, I'm doing that just fine, but if you want to get as much as possible, then having a wider lens and at least a tighter lens can give you those options. So for example here, trying to take a photo of the old town, you need to go to at least, I don't know, 24mm in my opinion to get everything into one shot, whereas with a 35 like this it's a bit more tricky. So you can get around it by doing a pano and stitching it later, but you know, you get what I'm trying to say. So even though this is a great pocket camera, a great walkabout camera, if you are seriously going to be traveling somewhere and you want to get as many photos and document as much as possible, I don't know if I'd recommend this. I'd rather get something like an XD50, an XD5 with either a zoom or at least a selection of primes that cover wide, medium and tight. So it seems like there's one kind of main street running through the old town, which is where everyone is and all the tourists are. And then there's loads of like little roads which take you up very steep hills, and there's less people there. Mum, this way. And by taking those little roads you can get away from most people. Huh. Hello mate. This is quite a nice frame. I mean, ideally I'd like someone to walk through, but I already got a shot with a pigeon because Of course there has to be a pigeon, but this frame's really nice. You've got some nice solid lines, highlights, shadows. The subject will be nicely framed. So it's just a case of waiting and see if anything materializes. But considering a cruise ship just dumped a bunch of people here, it might take a while, as you can see. I've been here for a solid 10 minutes and still can't get a clear shot. If you are visiting the old town of Dubrovnik, please take extra care on the steps because they're very slippery. I just found that out because as I was walking down the stairs, I slipped. Now, I didn't fall, I managed to catch myself. However, I involuntarily farted as I caught myself. And not sure if anyone heard that or not, but that was quite amusing, at least for me. A bit. Good morning from Šipan. I believe that's how it's pronounced. This is a tiny island about an hour away from Dubrovnik port, and it's very, very picturesque as a boat, excuse me. And yeah, it's really nice. So we've just come here for a few hours, walking around, just taking some photos. This is very quiet, very slow in comparison to the main town, and it seems not to be as touristy. It seems that most tourists got off La Pad, I think it was, or the stop before the main touristy bit. And here, it's hardly anyone. I think there's more locals here than tourists, which is a huge bonus. Also loads of old boats, which means I'm in my element. So yeah, this place is wonderful. So quiet here. Huh. Yeah, so I wish it was a bit wider here because I physically can't go back. So the landscape will be fine. This is a good example of framing. I want to take a picture of those boats, but rather than just sort of doing it like this, I'm going to use this bit of palm tree to try and frame one of the boats. Now, it's not going to be anything special, obviously, but it just gives you an idea. Try to find foreground elements and then use them to create frames, or to just block off parts of the image that you don't want. I'm not quite sure if any of this will materialize, if I'm honest, but it's not too bad. I mean, this might work actually if I focus on the background and then not sure if this has any legs. A bit more of an abstract shooting through the palm tree type shot. This is a really nice composition here. So you've got the boat over there, you've got the nice houses and the hills, you've got a Croatian flag, you've got a palm tree, and you've got the shadow of the palm tree. So if you can see the back of the screen, it creates just a really balanced and nice composition. So make sure the Croatian flag is clearly visible and it's not obstructed by the palm tree. Boat in the corner, bit of palm tree in the corner, and there we go. Like a very simple scene, but I love these kinds of photos. Oh, this is cool. You have all the fishing nets here. There's definitely a photo here somewhere. More on the abstract side, but there's definitely something here. So try and see if I can split the colours down the middle roughly. Or maybe have this on like all different textures. This is quite cool. Now that is a beach. Okay, now look at that. Take a picture. what a magical place that was. Literally, it's all just locals. It's probably still only like 2-3 people in the water, and yeah, it's a bit of a pain to get to. We had to take a boat and a bus, but then if you have your own boat like a lot of people there do, then you can get to it that way as well. Now, I'll be honest, I don't think I will tag this particular location. I'd rather tag a more, like say, touristic beach, because I don't know, with a place like this, I don't think it's sensible for someone with an online following to tag it. If you specifically want to know where this is, please email me or DM me, but I will not publicly say come to this beach, because I think that's quite irresponsible, especially when there's something as secluded and as I don't know what another word to use to describe it, but you know, it's not pure. That's weird, but you know what I mean. Yeah, it's not full of just tourists. It's just only people who have found it and locals. So hardly anyone here. Stay there. Go. At this point, I want to say that this video is sponsored by Belroy, but rather than do a sales pitch, let me show you what I've brought with me on this particular trip. We'll start with the bags themselves, and there's a Belroy 26 litre and a 6 litre sling. Everything I need fits into these two bags. So we'll start with a sling. It's just their standard Venture 6 litre, which is enough. And in here, I'll just keep the essentials for the flight, so camera, headphones, battery charger, that kind of stuff. Now, there are many things I like about this little bag. The first one is it opens from both sides, and the zips are weather sealed, so it opens from this side, so you can grab everything here, but you can also open it from the other side and grab anything you need here. The zips are weather sealed and they're easy to move around as well. The bottom has some nice padding, so if you drop it, everything in there should be okay, and the bag has a nice weather resistant coating. Now let's talk about the main bag, which is a 26 litre Venture Travel Edition. So the materials on the outside are very tough and also weather resistant. My favourite bit of this particular bag is the little compartment there. And when you unzip it, inside you get a little tote bag like this. And this is what I've been using as a beach bag for shopping, that kind of stuff, but it's nice to have it on there. Now let me show you what's inside, and this bag opens all the way up, so it's really nice and easy to see everything. So at the top here you have like documents, a notebook, that kind of stuff. Inside here you'll have like a lock, sleeping mask, spare band for my watch, earplugs, anything that you might need on a flight, but nothing too fancy in there. Moving on, we have a clear bag for toiletries for the flight, and then you have a little Belroy pencil case. Inside is my shaver, trimmer, toothbrush, that kind of stuff. And then there's a bigger Belroy pouch like this, and inside are all my electronics and accessories. Moving on is a packing cube, and inside here I'll have enough clothes for a week. And last but not least is an iPad Pro, which is my computer when I am traveling. In terms of accessories in the Belroy accessory pouch, not too much on this particular trip. So an SSD for backup just in case, a little SanDisk memory card, very useful, spare SD cards, a couple of USB-C converters, ND filters for the DJI, a mic just in case, a spare wrist strap, wired headphones, always good to have a spare backup, HDMI cable just in case I want to watch something on TV, Ethernet cable, this has saved me a few times when the Wi-Fi was weak, watch charger, spare battery for the camera, spare USB-C cable, another charger, a little stand for the DJI for the Pocket 3 so I can stand it up and do a time lapse, and another cloth. If you want to know more about these Belroy products or anything else that they offer, I use a ton of their stuff. I've been using it for years and I personally love it. If you use a code below, you'll get 10% off. and yeah, have a look, and hopefully you can find something that works for you. Well, good morning from Kolocep, the final island of this trip. It's definitely the biggest one so far, and there's quite a lot to explore. We've got an old town, beach, loads to do. Now, as for the X100, the paint peeling has carried on. So basically all the paint from the hot shoe has pretty much peeled off now. Now the paint itself seems to be very thin, and I suspect it's the heat here in Croatia that's caused it to peel off, literally like you know, old sellotape kind of peels off. Fujifilm did reach out because after I shared the story, and they said to send it back and they will sort it under warranty. So I'll see what they say, because the issue is that the item that's affected is the limited edition item, which in theory is only one of those items, the hot shoe with the serial number. But anyway, it doesn't really matter, it's not a big deal. So carry on using the camera, everything is good, sun's out, and it's the last day, so definitely gonna enjoy it. I'll be honest, if I was a travel YouTuber or a vlogger, I'll be so shit at this job, because I have to force myself to record these bits. Otherwise I just don't even get the video camera out and I just take photos. So yeah, I wouldn't make a good vlogger, that's for sure, because I just want to walk around and just look and just enjoy it rather than always filming. But yeah, first world problems, eh? So it looks like that boat over there, or the ferry's doing donuts. That's quite funny. It was literally, you could see the circle in the water, it was just literally doing donuts. Pigeon sitting right on the edge there, and what I like here is that you have the beautiful mountains, sky, clouds, the old town over there, the sea, the boats, and the light is on the little sand toys, seats and all that kind of stuff. So everything together makes for a really nice scene.